All right, stay in the mood of celebration and jubilation of expectation of disbursement. We must keep our hope and spirit alive. I want you to pay attention because people are reacting and they're listening very carefully to what people are saying towards disbursement, and also read in between the line and find a balance. Subscribe to the update, and most importantly, share this piece of information so that people can be aware of what is happening in the grant ecosystem. We must join our hands and our heart and our faith together to make sure disbursement gets to our bank account. Pay attention and have a great day.
We know that God is doing something for us on the inside. The hand of God is upon our journey, and it appears like there is a noticeable silence about what God has done for us is beyond human comprehension. You might not believe that, but that doesn't stop God doing what He does. I think it was Osim who dropped yesterday that he said something similar to that we should keep the temple of celebration onward, because what God has done for us, if any man refuse to abide in Him, that man is most foolish. That's what he wrote. And that he understands, he knows what he is saying, that what is about to happen can only be God, because the politics in the disbursement saga is highly classified. But in spite of that, God came in to fight for the beneficiaries who are in expectation. So many times we look at situations with our limited understanding and fail to grasp the full picture of God's divine plan. But let me tell you that God does not work according to human logic. No. God doesn't work according to human logic. God that we serve moves according to His own perfect will. So if any man refuses to abide in Him, that man is doing him or herself more harm than good. And I'm not saying this lightly. I say it because it is certain. I say it with certainty, because I have personally seen His handwork. I have witnessed what happens when men trust in their own strength. They only fail. They only fail. And also what happens when men surrenders to God, they only rise. So these are the two possibilities. When men trust in their strength, in their capacities, they fail. But when men trust in God, when men surrenders to God, they rise. In fact, and a very big in fact, God does not want us to lean on our understanding or to fight with our strength, but to fight in His strength. Little wonder God couldn't fight with 30,000 men when He was to use what's the name of that guy there in the Bible? Gideon. God couldn't use 30,000 men to fight. They were too much for Him. He has to take them to the announcement circle. If you know you've just married a wife, go back. If you know you just bought a parcel of ground, you've not tested it, you bought a car, you bought a landed properties, and you want to go and dedicate it, you want to go and test your wife and all those things. He said, you're free to go home. And a major exodus took place after that illustration, after that announcement. A major capital exodus to people moved en masse. But you see, they were still left like maybe 10,000 or something. And God said, they are still too much for me, Gideon. I need to take them to the water to test them. Okay, take them for the water test and see people who were thirsty before. And they say, watch. Only those you see that are lapping water with their tongue like dogs, those are the ones you should select pathway. And he looked and he was watching, he was doing the separation. God is a separatist, he separated them. And by the time he counted how many lapped with their mouth, not those that were swimming and making a whole lot of stuff inside the water, only 300 succeeded in that test. And God said, fine. From 30,000 to 300, I'm going to fight this battle only with 300. You know why? So that they won't say it was our strength that got us the victory. You know what man can do? God does not joke with his glory. He doesn't share with anybody. So those who believe in their strength, they always fail. Those who surrender to God, those who lean on God's strength, they always succeed. And I can tell you that the stage we are right now in the disbursement sector of the UAAG Sanctuary World Multipurpose Foundation is a divine stage where it is not the hand of man, it is a divine hand that is moving this project. So if you have been walking this journey without God, now is the time to align yourself with him. What is about to unfold would make it undeniably clear that no one but God could have orchestrated such an outcome within the grand ecosystem. We are standing on the brink of a divine shift, and those who are connected to him will be the ones to rejoice. Those who are connected are the ones that will sing the praise of God. Those who are connected are the ones that will testify, because God's timing and the unfolding of his will is right now. The tides are shifting. And what is about to happen can only be attributed to divine intervention. The level of political maneuvering surrounding this disbursement is beyond what the common eye could perceive. Highly classified, deeply entrenched, and seemingly impenetrable. But in spite of all of this, in the middle of all these complexities, God stepped in where human strength failed, where human strategies failed. God stepped in to help us. And that's why we are still talking about grants today, UAAG grant. If not for God, when you hear the word man, you take off. Man is terribly dangerous. Man wants everything for himself and himself alone. Man does not care about what happens to the next fellow. He only cares about himself. The governments and authorities may think they are in control. They may set rules. They create delays. They impose restrictions. But what they fail to realize is that God is the ultimate authority. No matter how classified the politics behind this particular process may be, God has the final say. When he moves, doors that were once shut would fling open, and walls that seemed unbreakable will come crashing down. When God moves, anything on his ways, God begins to move them. We may not have all the details of what is happening behind the scene, but one thing is clear: God is working behind the scene. In other words, God is happening behind the scene. And when he moves, no man can resist his power. The role of the country director, Apostle Ken Wakama, in navigating this process, I must take a moment to appreciate the country director for his exceptional wisdom that's been displayed over time in handling matters with the government. Wisdom is not just about intelligence, it is about knowing how to apply knowledge at the right time. In other words, wisdom is the application of knowledge in the right time and in the right way. And this is exactly what Apostle Ken Nwakama has done and is still doing within the Grand ecosystem. It is no easy task to win the hearts of those in power. No. The ego is there, the pride is there. Governments operate on structures. Government operates on protocols and sometimes sheer bureaucracies. That's what they do. They have their structures, their plan, their bureaucracy stuff. Yet through God's guidance, the country director, Apostle Professor Ken, has been able to navigate these complexities with patience and strategies. Many may not see the battles fought behind closed doors, but the truth is, without wisdom, this process couldn't have taken an entire different direction as it is right now. It could have been a history. You would have had another story without wisdom and strategy. So we must appreciate God's grace upon his life, because through him, this vision is being pushed forward. He has stood firm despite challenges. His perseverance is one of the reasons we are seeing progress today. His perseverance, his tenacity, his persistencies and consistency is one of the reasons why we are still talking about the UAAG grant today. So a time of rejoicing is near. It is near. I'm a proponent of this. The time of rejoicing is near. Beloved, relax. The long wait is about to transform into a season of rejoicing. The delays, the uncertainties, the battles behind the scenes are all leading up to something very glorious for us. What seemed impossible is about to become a testimony. When you are in the middle of a storm, it is easy to feel like the end would never come. Yes, very easy to feel like the end would never come. But let me remind you, every storm has an expiry date. What we are going through right now is simply a process, a temporary phase that is leading us toward a greater victory. Yes, and I mean that. So, I urge you, everyone listening to the sound of my voice, I urge you to remain steadfast. Do not allow doubt to creep in at the final hour. We're just at the final hour. The silence might be noticeable, but God is behind the scene working to our favor. Keep your faith strong. Hold on to your hope. Stay expectant, because very soon we will raise our glasses and rejoice together. We will raise our glasses, we'll raise our trophies, we'll raise our banners, and we will rejoice together. Get ready, because the celebration is not far. It is imminent. It's just right at the door.